today we are going to talk about how the Revolutionary War started. Kenneth, why don't you tell them about the Paul Revere's picture? Well, the Boston Massacre.
Well, it started out with a bunch of colonists saying insults to the Redcoats, and the Redcoats kind of got infuriated with this, and one of the Redcoats started fired.
Yes, fired. That made all the other Redcoats fire too.
At the same time,
well,
and
not
killed
at the same. Well, one, and then two, and then three, and then. But this, you're thinking massacre like hundreds and thousands of people, but only 5 people were killed. They called it the Boston Massacre. You can watch that because they wanted all the other colonists to get really mad with Britain and get like furious with them, and so they wouldn't be like traitors and go to Britain's side. Then Paul Revere drew a picture. Let me see that. Drew a picture, and it showed thousands and thousands of people dying, the colonists, and the Redcoats killing them. This made all the other colonists that got this picture really upset. So they all got really mad with Britain, and that was exactly what Paul Revere was trying to do.
Here's the picture.
Next, okay, here's the picture right here, if you see it correctly. No, don't hold that. Don't hold that. You see it? Is it correct? Is that good?
It's fine.
Okay, ready? Put it back up. All right. So the next thing we're going to do, Kenneth, why don't you start off with the Boston Tea Party?
Woo!
Okay.
Tea.
Okay.
Well, the British taxed tea for the Tea Act, and the colonists wouldn't pay for it because they had tea. They did boycotts on everything.
And what's it called? What's it called? The Girls of Liberty? No, the Daughters of Liberty worked hard and made tea or like other items that they need that were taxed for them, and they made it, but it was a little more expensive. But they didn't mind because they just didn't want to give taxes to the king. Kenneth?
The Boston Tea Party started when some of the Sons of Liberty, not all but some, went to Boston and boarded a ship as dressed up Indians, and there was nobody on the ship because the merchants never really got to sell the Britain tea, and they boarded it and emptied all the tea on there because they were really mad about the taxing, and they did that so the merchants can go back and tell British so they would maybe stop taxing on the colonists.
Yes, so they dumped it all overboard. And the whole ocean was brown. We saw a picture. Oh, by the way, here's another picture of them dumping out the tea that not Paul Revere drew. It's just a picture. All right, so put that back up, Kenneth, for me. So that next, there was something happened called the First Continental Congress. This is when what was it from each state? A representative from each state except Georgia came to Philadelphia. Actually before the king closed up Boston, ship's gonna go in. You couldn't come in. You couldn't go out. So they met up in Philadelphia, and had the First Continental Congress. That was when they all went together and decided what they wanted to do about all the taxing and what the king was doing.
Can I say what they did?
Yes, you can count. Yes, Kenneth. All right.
The First Continental Congress had all those people there, and they decided on one thing to send a letter to King George asking him to stop the taxes.
To treat them fairly.
And how
just as British citizens are. Yeah.
And they asked that they trained certain people and waited till May until they got the king's response, because if they trained a military base and the king said no on May, then they would have to use that military. And a matter of fact, he did. And that's where we end this newscast. Meet us tomorrow on
With
Jack and Kenneth and his...
Don't be quiet, Kenneth.